Hey guys! In this video today, we're going to be talking about resources and capabilities, which is chapter 4 of exploring strategy. So we'll be going through the VRIO analysis, value chain and system, benchmarking, TAUS, and last but not least, dynamic capabilities. And the whole point of this video is to show you how important resources and capabilities of an organization are and why they're important, how they can be changed, how can they be assessed, and so much more. I'll explain later in the video, but let's get started. So first and foremost, we have to look at what are resources and capabilities. Resources and capabilities of an organization contribute to its long-term survival, and they provide competitive advantage if used correctly, that is. Then we look at what is the difference between resources and capabilities. Now, resources are the assets that an organization has, and capabilities are how well these resources are used and how well they can be done. And now there are two types of resources and capabilities. There is threshold and there is distinctive. Now, threshold resources and capabilities are the things that are needed for an organization to meet the necessary requirements to compete in a given market and to be equal with the other competitors in that market. Now, the issue with threshold resources and capabilities is that with identifying and managing them, it is difficult, especially in changing with activities of other competitors entering the market. So it's difficult to keep up. And also, then moving on, we have the distinctive resources and capabilities, which is required to achieve a competitive advantage. Now, this is what makes an organization unique and distinctive from other competitors. And ultimately, to be able to achieve a sustained competitive advantage, an organization needs to have distinctive resources and capabilities. So in a VRIO analysis, this is how resources and capabilities can be assessed. Now, to assess whether your resources and capabilities are threshold or distinctive, you can easily use the VRIO analysis, because a VRIO analysis is an internal analysis of an organization, and ultimately it helps identify your distinctive resources and capabilities and therefore the sustained competitive advantages of an organization. Now, to use the VRIO, you assess it on four key criterias, and they are the value, rarity, inimitability, and organizational support. Now let's go through each four of them. So the value is what are the resources and capabilities existing in an organization that are valued by customers and enable the organization to respond to environmental opportunities and threats. This is a strength. And then rarity, which is what are the resources and capabilities that very few competitors possess and that's unique to your organization. And then we have inimitability, which is what are the resources and capabilities that are difficult to imitate, obtain, or it's costly to do as the same as for other competitors to do. And then we have the organizational support. Is the organization appropriately organized to exploit the resources and capabilities to take full advantage of it, basically? So this is basically the VRIO analysis. And if your whatever resource and capability that an organization has, if it is valuable, rare, inimitable, and it has organizational support, then it is a sustained competitive advantage. Now, moving on, to assess whether you can identify the strategic position of an organization, you can assess it based on your resources and capabilities using the value chain and the value system. Now, the value chain describes the categories of activities within an organization which together create a product or service, whereas the value system looks at the set of inter-organizational links, so either inside the organization or outside, and the relationships as well that are needed to create the product or service. So these are the two main differences between value chain and value system. And basically, the whole point of it is to identify where within the organization or outside of it, when creating the product or service, where is it that your resources and capability is going wrong? Where are the issues that can be found and can be identified and improved on? And then moving on, we are looking at how can your resources or capabilities be compared. And this is using benchmarking. Now, benchmarking is the process of measuring the performance of a company's product, services, or processes against another business. Now, there are two types of benchmarking. There is industry or sector benchmarking, and there's best-in-class benchmarking. Now, industry or sector benchmarking, you can use it to compare your performance against another organization in the same industry with similar service. The difference is that they have to perform on the same level as you are, and then you can compare. Whereas best-in-class benchmarking is where you compare your organization's performance or capabilities against the best organization or business in the market or in the industry that you are in, and therefore seek to overcome the limitations or issues that you have that are preventing you from reaching the same level as they are. Now we have the TAUS. The TAUS is where you can create strategies based on your resources and capabilities. Now, to create a TAUS, you need to do a SWOT, which is an internal analysis of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of your organization. Now, as you can see in the table, there are 4 tables, right? And the first table looks at the strengths and opportunities. And basically what you're doing is you're looking at the strengths of your business to take advantage of the external opportunities, therefore taking advantage and strengthening your business even more. And then you're looking at the weaknesses and opportunities where you're taking advantage of your external opportunities to limit or remove the weakness that your organization has. That's the second box. And then the third box looks at strength and threat strategies, where it looks at how you can use your internal strengths of the business to remove or limit the threat, the external threat that your organization is facing or could possibly face in the future. And then lastly, we're looking at weaknesses and threat strategies, which looks at minimizing or removing both the weaknesses and the threats of the organization and the external threat that the organization may face as well. So this is how basically you can create strategies using the TAUS matrix. And then we're looking at dynamic capabilities. So this tool looks at how you can change your resources and capabilities. Now, dynamic capabilities is used to renew and recreate its resources and capabilities to meet the needs of changing environment. So therefore, according to how developed or the market or the environment is, you can change and adapt your resources and capabilities. And now there are 3 steps to doing dynamic capabilities. It's first and foremost sensing. So sensing implies that organizations must constantly watch out, must constantly scan, search, and explore for opportunities across markets and technologies. And then after sensing it, you have to seize it. So once an opportunity is sensed, it must be seized and addressed through new products, services, promotions, etc. And then lastly, you reconfigure. So after seizing an opportunity, you need to renew and reconfigure the organization's capabilities and investments in order to improve them. And that's it, you guys. That's resources and capabilities chapter. Hope you had a good time. Hope you learned something. And thank you for your attention. I hope it was productive, and over and out.